everyone! After Kendrick recovered from his pretty epic food challenge-induced food coma, we decided to make our way south to Denali National Park. The Denali Park Road is the main road that stretches 92 miles into the park, but the general public is only allowed to drive 15 miles down this road. So, when we first got there, that's what we did.
When we got to the park, we wanted to get out and stretch our legs out a bit. Mandy went for a hike along the Savage River, while I decided to get a little bit higher in the surrounding mountains. There are very few established trails in the Denali National Park, and they actively encourage people to do off-trail hiking. So after a little over a mile of hiking up the Savage Alpine Trail, I decided to veer off-trail and explore some of the mountains in the area.
Meanwhile, I decided to do the shorter Savage River Loop, which was right off the parking area. I'm in Denali National Park doing a little hike along the river. Beautiful out. This was a really beautiful hike, but the one problem with choosing the easy trail is that you also get a lot of people. So while this trail was really highly trafficked, the good views made up for it. It just reminded me why sometimes getting away from the parking lot can be a good thing. Now the only way to see the rest of the park road is by tour bus. So the next day, we booked ourselves a full day bus ride out to Wonder Lake and back.
Buses depart up the park road several times during the day, starting at 6 a.m. So we got on the earliest departure possible in the hopes that we would see more wildlife.
All right, it's 6 o'clock in the morning and we're on our way to the bus depot. We got a bus going into the park since that is the only way to see the whole park, but it leaves really early. I didn't really know what to expect going into this bus ride. I figured we'd see a few moose, probably some caribou, and maybe a bear if we were lucky. We saw all kinds of wildlife in this one drive. Everything from the simplest rabbits and marmots to dull sheep high up in the mountains. We saw more caribou than I could count. We saw an unbelievable 8 moose. And can you believe we saw 6 grizzly bears? Everything from a mama bear with her 2 cubs to my favorite, which was a lone grizzly pouncing around for its dinner. I couldn't believe how agile this bear was, running around almost like a cat pouncing on its prey. And finally, just before our tour ended, we were treated with 3 wolf pups right on the side of the road. That's a lot of wildlife. Even without all these amazing wildlife sightings, the views alone make the bus ride more than worth it.
It's said that about 30% of park visitors get to see Denali. Unfortunately, we were not in that 30%. However, we were still treated to great views along the way and even caught a few glimpses of glaciers off in the distance.
After spending all day on a tour bus, we decided it was time to explore more of the park on foot.
I got out for an early morning run in preparation for my upcoming 100-mile race in Idaho.
Not too shabby out here.
After Kendrick got back from his run, we went for a hike around Horseshoe Lake with my friend Rainey. One of the best things about travel is that every now and then you get to meet up with friends in really unexpected places. Rainey is my friend from Texas who's now working seasonally in Alaska. I never thought we'd get to go on a hike in Alaska together. Not only was it great to catch up with an old friend, but we also got a small break in the weather, and we also got to see some muskrats swimming around in the lake. Denali is also known for their sled dogs, which have been around almost as long as the park has been. And they were crazy cute. Like, crazy cute.
Not as cute as me.
I mean, maybe a little cuter. On our last day in the park, we decided to hike up to the Mount Healy Overlook, which has great views in all directions. While Kendrick decided to take the really, really, really long way down, I went back the way we came and gave him a chance to run. All right, we just hiked up to the top of Mount Healy together, and I'm gonna hang out with my camera while this guy keeps running.
I continued onward and upward along the ridgeline with gloomy skies but great views. I made my way up and over Mount Healy and descended to the town of Healy where I met Mandy. It was no small coincidence that my run ended near a town with a great local brewery. So we made our way into town and went to the 49th State Brewery for dinner and beers.
Now, we usually go to breweries for Kendrick's taste, but I was pleasantly surprised to find that this brewery had an amazing whiskey selection. The food was great, the atmosphere was great, and they even have some memorabilia out front for you movie buffs. They bought the bus that was used in the filming for the movie Into the Wild. Now, most people might drive straight from Denali National Park down to the Kenai Peninsula, not realizing that there's quite a bit to be seen in the state park in between.
Denali State Park has quite a few miles of gorgeous trails, as well as a few amazing views of Denali, which we did not see.
There's a little something for everyone, so once again, I let Kendrick go on a training run while I took an easier hike around a lake. It was a really rainy and overcast day, but that didn't take away from the beauty of the lake. The best part of the hike was when I was able to stop at an open viewpoint of the lake and I could just see an unbelievable number of fish jumping. Although I enjoy every second I get to spend with this guy over here, every now and then it's nice to have a little me time on the trail.
I went for an 18-mile run on the KESUGI Ridge Trail. From the moment I left the parking lot until the moment I reached the end of the run, it was just muddy, boggy, nasty, slow going, hardly run a single step of the way. It was frustratingly slow, but I still enjoyed every step of the way. It was gorgeous, scenic. It was a pretty run. And I got away from this crazy gal. It's good for my sanity. So what better way to finish a trip to the Denali area than visiting the Denali Brewing Company? We try not to go out too much, but when we do, we prefer areas that are unique to the places we're visiting.
After Kendrick got his fill of beer, we found a popular boondocking spot on the bank of the Susitna River to spend our final night in the Denali area. Denali was the first park that we experienced where we didn't have the freedom to drive where we wanted when we wanted. It was a frustrating experience at first, but the sooner you realize that the rules are there for a reason, the sooner you can really enjoy your own journey through the park. So here's to making the most of your park experience. Love and light. You're driving me insane.
And you're already halfway there.
Don't even start.